Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast where we review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Maria.
and today we're reviewing The Last House on the Left, released in 2009. Screenplay by Adam Aleka and Carl Ellsworth, and directed by Dennis Ellis. Maria, can you give the people the plot summary?
Maria and her friend look forward to a holiday at the remote Collington Lake House, but instead, an escaped convict and his crew kidnap them and later leave them for dead. Maria makes her way back home where her parents, John and Emma, have unwittingly offered shelter to the thugs. When John and Emma find out what happened to their daughter, they decide to make the strangers rue the day they harmed Mary.
So, Last House on the Left, the remake. Now, I'm not a big fan of remakes, as everyone who listens to this podcast knows, because I feel like most remakes don't improve on the original. They just kind of modernize it. But I will have to say with this one, it's definitely an improvement. Everything that the first one like warned you about, all the promotion, it was like just keep repeating to yourself. It's only a movie. It's only a movie. What you see is only a movie. I feel like the original didn't really live up to that, but this one kind of did. Like the sexual assault scenes were very traumatic and very very graphic. I was not expecting that. And the kills were also very like intense. But what are your overall thoughts on the movie, Maria?
I mean, I didn't like it. I don't like, again, I don't really like movies with sexual violence, especially when I don't know, because it lasted so long, Jesus. And I know it's supposed to be a revenge movie, but I feel like the kills themselves don't live up to what they did to Marie personally. Um I also feel that, like, I mean, compared to the original, yeah, it is better because I feel like the original did make the scenes really weird. And again, yeah, and I feel like it did center again on the whole murder and sexual assault, but like the revenge in the first movie was a lot worse. Not worth it. But I feel like this movie, sure, it was better. I feel like compared to the last movie, it didn't really like romanticize violence. Um, but it still fell flat to me. Like, I will not be watching this again. I did like a lot of the like music in here was pretty good though. Like there was like some like little like certain scenes. I thought the music really fit it and it made the scene a lot more impactful. Um, but I still don't like the movie.
The score definitely helps, and then other than that, it's like this is a good cast of people. Like you have the guy from Breaking Bad, and then you have Tony Goodwin, who was fucking Tony Goodwin from Ghost, but he's also from Scandal. You have Monica Porter, who was on that show Parenthood. You have the kid who plays Justin. He was in Unbreakable, and he was in another TV show recently. The name escapes me, but like you have Sarah Paxton. It's like this was a big cast, like a good cast, a cast of like people who were big then and people who become big after. So it was like,
Yeah.
but Maria, were there any scenes that stood out for you? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, I mean, of course, I didn't like the scene where they hurt like Mary and Paige. I feel like it lasted so long compared to like their actual kills. Um, like I just felt that like they should have done a lot more, especially if it's supposed to be a hold on, especially if it's supposed to be a revenge movie. Um, I didn't like. I liked the scene though when Krug pushes the dad like over the balcony, but the whole thing just falls and the dad's on the floor, and it just I thought it was a good scene. Um, did not like the scene where all he did was just like microwave his head. Because that took like 5 seconds. Like, come on. Like,
That ending scene, yeah.
he could have done
I
so
wanted
much
more. I
better.
wanted him to like torture him or something.
Yeah, especially if he was a doctor. Like, I don't know. He was a surgeon.
I mean,
I'm sure
he
he
already
knew how to really
paralyzed
hit
him.
someone. That's all. Yeah, like that's all, but that's all he did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have done a lot more. Um, and like this scene where like it was after they had it was when Mary was like in the water and they like shot her and stuff and they're like walking away because they they think she's dead and then like Sadie is crying. I thought that scene was so stupid because it's like, ma'am, you helped like you helped them do everything to this girl and like she was so happy to be helping them in the beginning and now you're crying like come on. I don't know. It made no sense. That scene made no sense to me. Um, I did like the scene though when you see Mary crawling like towards the house. I thought it was very eerie. If it was like a different type of scary movie, it would have been very scary. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
I think for me, like, yeah, the rape scene was very uncomfortable. I did not enjoy that at all. All of that was just extremely too much. Um, then I did like the opening scene with the family, because I feel like the original movie, we didn't get to really see the three of them together, any interaction, but actually getting to see them and seeing the banter back and forth was pretty good. So I enjoyed that part. That scene where Krug like stabbed Justin and was like about to kill him was like very intense. Actually, all of Krug's interactions with Justin were very intense and made me very like, oh, this is how he treats his own kid, no matter fuck. And then that whole scene with Krug and the cops, I did not see that coming. That definitely wasn't part of the original, so that was a lot. The whole like train scene was insane. But were there any kills that stood out for you?
Kills. I mean, I guess when they first kill Francis, because they weren't actually trying to kill him; they were just kind of trying to like not see the daughter, and you could kind of see that like I guess I thought it was great, not great, but it was interesting to see them like freaking out because they're like because like I mean they totally look like new time killers, they're like freaking out, they're they keep hitting this guy with whatever they can find, and I don't know, I just thought it was kind of fun, not funny, but it was like it felt very like realistic, not just like off the bat, just hitting him once and he's down. Like they had to like hit him. They tried to drown him. She like hit him with the bottle. He hit him with the hammer, and I mean, I don't know. It was a good scene. Um, and that's it.
For me, I think the killing of the two cops at the beginning, that was pretty intense. That was when you like choked them with the seatbelt. That was a decent kill. And then I don't know. I wanted more from Krug's death than like him being microwaved alive. I feel like that was very lackluster for like this is the man who actually raped your daughter, and all you're doing is you paralyzed him and then you microwaved his head. Like, really, that's
Yeah,
it?
that's what I'm saying. I was like, it just he died in like 5 seconds. Like no.
Paige's death was a lot. Them like constantly stabbing her from the front to the back. That was a lot. Frank's death was, I don't know. I feel like the death scenes for the three of them needed to be more intense, given what they just did, and it just didn't. And like, yeah, they were new killers. They hadn't killed anyone before, but still, like, these are the people who just murdered your daughter's friend and like attacked her, and this you should have done a lot more. But that's just me.
I just feel like the guy's a doctor and a surgeon. I feel like he would know some ways to really, like, hurt somebody, I guess. Like, you would think.
You would, but apparently we're overthinking it because I just felt like there was something missing. Like I just needed there needed to be more. It just needed to be like you can't give us this and then have it be so lackluster. Like you traumatized us with that very long, drawn out like rape murder scene, and we don't get a payoff. Like that wasn't a payoff. That wasn't a payoff for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But enough about those bad kill scenes. Let's talk about some of the characters. Let's start with Paige. What are your thoughts on Paige?
I mean, she was a fighter, She really tried. Um, she really tried to get away.
She was
I
so
wouldn't
close. So many
she
times she
was.
was so close at the window and then at the construction site.
Yeah. And they just kind of like, which, I mean, yeah, I just hate how they kind of did that. I mean, I definitely wished she would have lived. And yeah, her death scene was just so intense, and it's just like, for for what? Like, I don't know. I don't just don't understand why we had to see all that. Especially when like the revenge itself just wasn't sweet, you know. But I mean, Paige was just kind of, she was just added collateral, really, because realistically, like the like the main person here really was Mary.
Yeah, let's talk about Mary. I feel like I don't know if you saw the original, but with this one, like we really got to see with this one, Mary was more relaxed and like the good girl because in the original Mary was like her and Paige were like the roles were kind of reversed with her and Paige in the original. So this was seeing Mary being good and the fact that Paige survived. I mean that Mary survived this one because in the original Mary died after the attack. Like she was killed. She did not make it. So getting married to the end and having her be there is okay. This Mary's a fighter. What are your thoughts on Mary?
I mean, yeah, she definitely was a fighter. She definitely tried to save herself and tried to to save her friend, and um yeah, she went from the lake all the way to her house, like, after being raped and stabbed,
They
or not
did mention
stabbed,
that she was a
shot.
swimmer at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but good for her, because she really fought for it. She fought for her life. um she still had like water in her lungs, so good for her for um yeah, I mean, that's honestly, pretty much all you can say about Mary. I like how, yeah, I definitely like how they portray Mary in this movie compared to the first one. um I kind of wish that maybe at some point in the scene that, like, instead of just microwaving this guy's head, that they torture him. And I just wish Mary would have had some type of payback, because this guy
Yes, I
died
would have loved that.
not knowing that she was alive. You know what I mean? Like, he just kind of thinks that they're out for revenge. Or I don't even think, I mean, yeah, he does. Yeah, he just kind of thinks that they're out for revenge. And I feel like it would have been so sweet for him to see her and see that she's alive, like she didn't die.
Yeah, that would have been so much better. But I do like that she was
Right?
able to keep fighting, but she definitely should have got the to kill Crook. I feel like either her or Justin deserved to like kill Crook.
Yeah.
But what are your opinions on Sadie?
I mean, I don't personally have strong opinions about her, except the fact that, like, she was just kind of doing whatever these guys were doing. And then they're supposed to give you, like, some sense of humanity in her when she started crying when Mary died. But it's like, you basically took her fucking shorts off. Like, what are you crying about? Like, I don't know what that scene was supposed to show you about Sadie. I mean, I feel like the Sadie here was more bland than the Sadie from the first movie. I think the only time we get any real like glimpse of her being like psychotic was like in the beginning. Because I think she was the one who shot the cop,
Yeah, she
if I'm not
was.
mistaken. But like that's it. After that, she didn't really like. I don't think she played. She didn't play as like a major role as the Sadie in the first movie did.
Nope.
This one was just kind of like there. I mean, she did fight for herself in the bathroom, which kind of like makes sense, like she doesn't know why, this guy's in there, why he shot her. Um, she's just kind of like, this guy just shot me in the neck, and she like fought for herself at naked as she should. Well, not as she should, like considering the fact that she doesn't really know what's going on. But like, and yeah, her kill scene was just like they just shot her in the head and she died, and like that's it. Like I wish they would have done so much to these people
But yeah,
to bring them
I
close
do
to me.
like that the mom got her killed in. But I do like in the original, the mom also killed Sadie. She slit Sadie's throat and she threw her in the lake, just like her daughter was like her body was thrown in the lake. It's just like this one was just so I don't know. I just needed more. And I do like that the mom also took part of killing Frank because in the original, like the parents had like a plan. Did you watch the original all the way through?
No.
Because in the original, the mom was flirting with that version of Frank, and
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah, I saw
she took
that.
him to the lake, and then she gave him a blowjob, which went on way too long before she like bit his penis off. And I was like, this was all like a plan. She had a plan, and she went with it. These I don't know, and they did like the most brutal things, like this man raped your daughter, so you bit his dick off. Like I don't know. It just this one just was missing something. But speaking of Frank, let's talk about Frank. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I like how they made him into like a monster of his own. I feel like movies when they have like two different like criminals, there's usually like some type of like mastermind, like some type of leader. Which I guess, I mean, if you really want to think deeply about it, it would be Krug. But I just also feel like Frank, is it Francis or Frank?
I feel like they called him both, but let's go with Francis or Frankie. I heard all three of those at some point.
Well, I mean, anyway. So I feel like he was also just a really shitty guy. Like he wasn't just following Krug around. Like he was there because he was also just as evil. You know. Um, and like out of the both of them, he was definitely weird. Like I think Krug was kind of like able. I guess Krug, in a way, you could say was like a psychopath because he was able to hide the fact that he was dangerous, compared to compared to Francis, especially when he was saying all those weird things to the mom and like being kind of like weird to the dad. He was just being weird. Like you could just tell this man is like not not fully there compared to Krug. But he's also not just following like Krug around. Um and honestly, he was the bloodiest person there. Like in general, I feel like during the car crash, and then there was the like him getting sewn up by the doctor, and then like, oh my god, this scene where John, like as they're fighting, he like moves his nose. I thought was it was I don't know, it was so funny to me. Um because it's like, why is that the first thing you do? I mean, I guess it makes sense. He knows where he's injured. It was just a really funny scene. Um but I just feel that like um I think out of all their deaths, I guess his was just the most satisfying, because they were like hitting him back to back and they were beating him back to back compared to like their fights with Krug. I felt like it was an actual fight and they were just trying to survive versus with, Francis, they were like really just
It was like
going at
spur of the
him.
moment. It was like, are we gonna do this? We're doing this. Oh shit, we got to commit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about Justin because both versions of Justin in this one and the original, I felt so sorry for. I felt more sorry for the one of the original because that version of Krug had Justin hooked on drugs and was controlling him, and then that version of Justin also died. Like he was killed. I forgot. I think Krug killed him. I think that's how. Yeah, Krug killed him. It was kind of playing out the same way where he was sticking up for he was trying to help the dad, but then Krug got mad and Krug killed him. So I was really happy that this version of Justin survived and was like on the boat to safety with the family because he honestly didn't want to be there. He just like he made two friends and he didn't want them to get hurt. He didn't want to touch Mary. He didn't want to do any of that. So I was like, yes. But what about you? What are your thoughts on Justin?
I mean, same. I feel the same way. Poor kid. I felt so bad for him. Um, and I felt really bad that his dad. Yeah, I felt really bad. I'm glad that he was able to stand up for himself. Um, I can see why he didn't the first time when everything was happening. Um, I'm glad that he decided to I guess you definitely see that like character growth. And yeah, I definitely wished it was either him or Mary that actually finished off Krug, but it is what it is. And then if I'm not mistaken, I guess that the family just recently lost a son, which I don't know how that plays. I don't know why that was even mentioned in the movie because it makes no sense. But I guess. Um,
I think it was more to show that like they're willing to do anything to protect the child they still have left. But it really, I guess, but they didn't give enough of a backstory for us to like really care.
yeah, I just feel like it didn't. I don't know. I personally feel like it didn't add anything to the story because he was mentioned in the beginning, and then he was like never mentioned again, which is like, all right, I guess. I don't know, but I mean, I like Justin. It was a really interesting contrast to his father, and I'm assuming the way he was raised by his father. I'm glad in the end he decided to help the parents and they got away.
Yeah, I get that. But speaking of fathers, let's talk about John. I feel like John, even though I didn't like the ending with him with Krug and the microwave. I did like that they told us he was a doctor. They showed us him patching people up, but then he also used those skills to like get revenge. I did like that. That he's like, okay, I know where you're hurt. I'm gonna hit you there. I can't duct tape you because I don't have any duct tape. I have no rope, but I know how to paralyze you because I'm a doctor. So I did like that. I did like how well both of the parents in general. You could tell that there was some kind of given that they had just lost a kid, there was friction there. But I do like that they came together to protect their daughter and to protect each other. I do like that. I do like that both the mom and the dad were both quick thinking. What about you? What do you think about both of the parents, John and Emma, mom and dad?
I mean, yeah, I liked them better than the parents in the first movie. I feel like the spur of the moment was a lot more realistic. Um, and I like that, like, I feel like their reactions to killing these people were a lot more realistic too. They weren't just like, I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna kill you. Like, they seemed genuinely afraid about having to go, kill these people, which I thought was great. Um, because I feel like, killing a person in general is just not, especially when you have to do it because, you just feel like you have to. I feel like is a big, it's a big thing, and they portrayed that very well. Um, I liked how they, yeah, and I do like the route that they took with the mom and Frankie. Like he was trying to flirt with her, and she was just kind of like, just like she just wasn't really paying attention to whatever the hell was going on, um, which was great. And I mean, yeah, I just like them better than the parents from the first movie. Yeah, I just wish that John would have used his doctor skills, um, and actually would have done some damage to both, to all of them. Like if he had something to like paralyze them with, I feel like they could have came up with something else. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Um, I mean, I guess but yeah, I feel like. I mean, I guess compared to like 2009, I think when the movie came out, I guess they did what they could. Um, I just wish it would have been because I know this movie is supposed to be more gory, but I feel like the kills themselves weren't really that gory, like the important kills, which was disappointing.
Yeah, there definitely could have been more, but I do like what the parents even tried. I do like what they did that. I wanted more, needed more, would have been more. I don't know. I just needed something different. Like I don't know. Something was missing, and I don't know how you get that. I don't know what they should have done to redo it. It just something's missing. That's all I can say. But let's go to Krug. What are your thoughts on Krug?
I I liked that he. I don't know. I mean, I guess because it was technically the main antagonist. I liked that they definitely made him to like the monster, like for doing the things that he did. And I also like that in the scene when like he was talking to the parents, he was super friendly. They were like talking like everything was cool, and he was just very very laid back, and he was just kind of like, I mean, like when him and the dad fought, like he definitely almost had him. And like, yeah, I think like the first time when the dad went in there and they like shot at him, at Sadie and Krug, and Krug will like use the things around him so that he can escape, and then went back to the house. But whatever. I thought that was very like smart. Definitely out of all of them, he definitely seemed the smartest. Um, but I mean, they just made him seem, I guess, very dangerous. You know, very much like the psychopath he was supposed to be.
Yeah, they cast a good actor who was definitely able to pull off the whole creepy, crazy factor because it was super terrifying and very, very believable. So I think that was good. And you're right, like that the ending fights with him and the parents was very intense. Just for me, it's just I want to know like because I said this in the last review with Tuan. Like I don't know how this group fits together. Like where is Justin's mom? Because it's not Sadie. And how did Sadie get mixed up with these two? And where where are Krug and Francis's parents? Like you can see that Francis is there because he probably idolizes his big brother and does whatever the hell Krug tells him. But then like how did they get Sadie? What makes Sadie different from all the other women they probably assaulted and murdered and whatever? And where's Justin's mom? Is she dead? Like I feel like I need to know more about the dynamics of the group because I just didn't understand how they fit. I didn't know how they fit last time. Don't know how they fit this time. I don't know. I don't know how Krug is their like de facto leader. But that's just me. I always need to know more about the crazies and to understand why they're crazy. But enough about that. Let's move on to some behind the scenes info and facts. The budget for this movie was $15 million. The box office was $46 million. So they definitely made their money back in a ugh. So they definitely made their money back and a little bit more. Some interesting facts. Tony Goodwin was at first reluctant about appearing in the film because of its violent content. Goodwin changed his mind, however, after viewing the director's film Hardcore. Sarah Paxton revealed in an interview that the rape sequence took 17 hours to film. Damn. Co-producer Jonathan Craven appeared as a child in Last House on the Left, 1972. He was a young boy with the balloon that Krug burst as he walked past on the street. The movie was supposed to be shot in the original 1972 movie location. However, due to the weather disturbances, forced the film crew to reconsider the filming location. Critics' reactions. This currently has a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's higher than I thought it would be. The San Francisco Chronicle felt that the remake departed from the traditional template used by more recent remakes, include twice as many kills, borrow young actors from TV shows, rewrite the script so you lose everything interesting about the original. Huh. The New York Post agreed that the film succeeded where the other remakes had failed. For, for the New York Post, it was the what the hell? Huh. For the New York Post, it was the replacement of the quick cutting, loud noises, and camera trick cliches with long takes, genuinely disturbing violence that stretched with no dialogue to pen the story, which gave you a visceral feeling and it was more effective. USA Today stated that the director Dennis Lattis failed at trying to keep the film from being another torture porn. Yeah, I agree with that. It was
Yeah.
very yeah. Variety believed that the film lacked in comparison to the 1972 original in almost every aspect. Believed that the film spent more time trying to please current horror fans than create an effective update to Wes Craven's original. But enough about them. Maria, do we cash or pass The Last House on the Left 2009? Maria?
I pass. Pass. Not watching this again.
Yeah, I pass. It definitely improved some things. A lot of complaints that I had about the original because, like, literally with the original, they cut from the beginning of the assault and when they first met the girls to then the mom and dad having some like happy conversation, being undercut with happy music, going back to the assault, then to cut back to the parents like giving the cops some cake, and it was like happy go lucky, and then the next scene was them taking the girls and stuffing them in the trunk, being undercut by like some whimsical music, and I was just like, why is all these weird, like, why doesn't the audio, like, why doesn't the score and the music match the scene? Like, why is it all so hokey and the editing was all bad? But this would improve on all of that. It was more visceral, it was more uncomfortable, and that's why I have to pass, because it's so uncomfortable to watch it the first time. I wouldn't want to watch it again, nor would I tell anyone to watch this. Like, just read the fucking synopsis on Wikipedia and just like call it a day, or find one of those explained videos on YouTube. It's like, am I passing it because it's a bad movie? No, I'm passing because it made me uncomfortable, and I don't ever want to watch it again. Is that kind of where you at, Maria?
Yeah, I just feel like movies when they have like sexual violence, especially like that, it kind of just takes away from the whole experience for me. Uh, so yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I do too. Especially when there's like no. I didn't feel like there was any payoff. Like you said, their deaths compared to what they didn't really match, and I just felt like something. It just felt all kind of wrong, and I don't know. Is it better than the original? Yes. Is it better overall? No. But tune in next week as we review a newer horror movie that came out within the last year or so. It came out, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Now, I've never seen this before. Maria, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
So this will be the first time for the two of us, and next week all three of us will be back. So Tuan is a fan of this movie, so this will be new for Maria and I. So tune in. Good night. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?